Today's Woman of Impact gives Duracell and the Energizer Bunny a run for their money. From cheerleader to model to actress to journalist, producer and news anchor, this woman has done it all. And literally, guys, when I say done it all, I mean from getting slimed by John Stamos to skydiving with Fetty Wap to thumb wrestling The Rock and winning, by the way. Yep, she's a beast of a personality. But to try and keep her in a box is just like telling Patrick Swayze that baby belongs in the corner. It just ain't gonna happen. From humble beginnings in Missouri, she moved to LA to pursue her dreams, only to realize it was not going to be easy. She barely scraped by with earning only $7,000 in her first year, teaching her that the difficulties and challenges of Hollywood were real. So hard work and hustle became the name of her game. Well, in case you were wondering, her persistence paid off. She caught the eye of William Morris and one of the world's top talent agencies and landed a role as an Access Hollywood reporter, interviewing every A-list celeb you can possibly imagine, from George Clooney to Jennifer Lawrence to Tom Cruise and the one and only Oprah, earning her an Emmy nomination for multimedia journalism. It was safe to say it was a dream come true, until it wasn't. Staying true to her heart, she made a ballsy move that almost unheard of in Hollywood. She left a high-profile gig, followed her passion, and started her own production company, Hybrid House. So guys, please help me in welcoming this one badass mofo, my homie, Alex Hudgens. What's up, homegirl?
So great. It sounds so weird to hear your entire life at once. And you're like, yeah, I did do all that.
You've done
You're right.
so much, girl. But the thing is it hasn't come easy, right? Everyone can look at you and see, I mean, in watching all your videos, in watching your interviews, your personality is huge. Knowing you off camera, you are exactly
really
the same
friends.
person. Yeah.
Good.
So you are exactly the same person. So you are so authentically you. But it hasn't been easy. What made you take that big, risk in the first place from leaving your hometown to come into Hollywood?
When you are from a flyover state, from a small town, and you have big dreams, you kind of have to go. I'm not the first person to do that by any means. But, I thought I wanted to do local news forever and ever, and I interned at a news station, and then I was a production at a news station at the, NBC affiliate in St. Louis, which was awesome. And the thing is, though, I realized that's actually not what I wanted to do. I interned out here in LA and just fell in love. And I was like, all right, I think I'm going to move here.
Were you scared to do it, or was it like...
I just kind of live by, just try it. If the worst that can happen is you have to come home, that's really not so bad, so you might as well try.
Yeah.
Worked out.
I love that if the worst that can happen. I always do that. I take every scenario and just think, what is the worst that can happen?
The worst thing that can happen.
And when I think about, in my entire life, what the worst things that can possibly ever happen to me is living on the street and not being able to feed myself, right? A roof and food. And if it doesn't lead to that then it's okay. One thing that you said is no one knows what they are doing, so just go for it.
I think that's really true. And, as a 22-year-old, when I moved out here, I really, really didn't know what I was doing. But the higher you climb, whether it's in the corporate side of things or on the entrepreneurial side of things, freelancing, you start realizing, oh, everyone's just kind of figuring it out. And maybe they've been doing it for 50 years, but they were just figuring it out the whole time. So there's really no reason that I can't do that too.
But what I love is people are going to listen to this and go, yeah, but she's got a really outgoing personality, and I don't have that. So to be able to take the risk. Now the truth is, you're a self-confessed introvert.
100%, guys. Okay, let's talk about this. Introvert versus extrovert really just means, where do you draw energy from? Are you someone that being in groups of people, that being around your close friends, parties, that's where you're just charging up from the ground and that's what you do? Or are you someone who needs pretty significant alone time? Would you prefer to be somewhat quiet, or maybe you're listening to music, maybe you're reading a book and that's it? 100%. I'm the alone time person and very able to, I'm an ambivert technically. I can put on the extrovert hat frequently, especially in a professional setting, but I will fall off the face of the earth for 2 weeks. You just have to trained in not in a I'm being inauthentic in these situations, but trained in a what's more worth it? Calling yourself shy, like it's a fixed personality trait, or literally, it's like putting on this outfit and saying, I'm going to go out here and do this because it's going to help me make better friends. It's going to help further my career.
But how do you put that hat on though, right? Because it's, if you're at home and you think of yourself as shy, I like the fact that you're saying don't identify yourself, because that almost like reinforces it.
Yeah.
But to take that step, to be that shy person that looks up to someone like you and is like, oh my God, I want that life. But they're just paralyzed. Like how do you put the hat on?
It's a choice. All of our circumstances are choices. There are situations that, of course, maybe you're a victim of something and things happen to us, but 99% of the time, and even how we respond after those things, it's choices. It just is. And we want to act like things are fixed, but the reality is very few things about anybody's personality are fixed traits. And some choices are harder to make than others, and it's going to take a little bit of work to put on that introvert hat or extrovert hat. But one step at a time. If you're watching this and you're like, I think I'd want to do that, but I'm too shy. Well, you're not going to jump straight on a red carpet. That's not how the industry works anyway. Start by making one new friend this week. Maybe that's your goal, is I went to a public place and spoke to a stranger for 15 minutes. Check. And then the next week it's a little bit more. And then the next week it's a little bit more. That's how this works. So maybe you're looking at what I do and saying, I think that could be it, but I'm not there yet. Well, find that thing that does utilize your strengths, because all this really is confidence. Real confidence, not like, I'm okay.
Did you have to fake confidence at first? Because I know I did.
I do have moments where, imposter syndrome and all that kind of thing that everybody deals with in some sense. I did have to fake knowing what I was doing. Fake it till you make it. I don't think of it as like me feeling like I'm not supposed to be here and I'm not really ready, but there were moments where it was like, hello, Oprah, I have no business talking to you, but I'm going to stand here like I do. And then you just, bam, and you do it and it goes fine. Now,
you said that you've never really felt nerves. So even when you're sitting with Oprah, because let me tell you, I think I'd shit myself. Like, no joke, I would hope I would be able to like compose myself and get the questions out.
You would.
But what did you like tell yourself anything in that moment? Like, are you kind of like cheering yourself on? Because there's so many people that, going back to kind of paralysis, right? Where it's like they have a dream and I think that their fear of something stops them.
Yeah.
How do you?
You have to decide that your fear is not worth it. Like I go back to this all the time, and in a non-morbid way, like I think about death every day. I'm going to die. What am I going to do before that happens? And if I'm lucky, maybe I'll live to be 100 and get half of these things in my head accomplished. But I could go get hit by a car right now. So if I'm making choices that are fearful, to me, it's just not an option. Like how can we live in fear? We don't get to do it again. So you might as well jump, and we can get into the whole discussion about failure and what does that really mean.
Yeah,
like what does that even
Come
mean?
on now.
But like with an Oprah, you just say, I have two choices here. Act scared, and then she's really not going to respect me, or be creeped out. People tend to get like creepy when they're acting a little bit too shy, or like, it's okay. Like Oprah is aware that she's Oprah, but also just remembering like she started from the bottom. Truly, I mean, Oprah's story is crazy. She really did. She knows that she can tell I'm pretty young just from looking at me, so she's not expecting Barbara Walters to come at her, but she is expecting me to respect her with my professionalism as well. And I'm also like, as much as she is the queen, she's still just a person, just like me. So let me just go for it. And so I don't really think.
I love that. It's kind of like what Bruce Lee said. He doesn't think kick, he just kicks.
It's muscle memory.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the whole 10,000 hours thing. Not that I've had 10,000 hours. I could not have yet. I've been doing it long enough. But it's once you like do it and do it and do it, you so eloquently and kindly went through my whole story, but every single piece of that was learning.
Yeah.
So that when Oprah happens, it's just, it's muscle memory.
Yeah.
And you just go for it.
So let's go back then to when you first moved to LA. you earn $7,000 in a year. Now, God, you could live, God, you know, up in the village in Cyprus where my family's from and still not survive off $7,000. Yeah. So you're in Los Angeles, you only have $7,000. How do you not turn around and just quit?
Yeah. Well, asterisk, $7,000 as a host. Behind the scenes, I was hustling. I mean, you have to. So I had a couple different nanny gigs. I was a background extra on Scandal regularly. Brand ambassador, and be like, Bud Light, need you to go hand out Bud Light at this stuff. It's funny when your ego starts coming into the picture and you have to be like, you're going to have to take a seat or we're going to have to move back to St. Louis. Because I would think, what if the celebrities at this event recognize me as the one that was also interviewing them? But you kind of got to be like, too bad, what's the other option here?
What made you keep going though and saying like, you know what, I'm not enjoying this job, I don't like it, why am I even doing it, right? Like so many people have that negative voice that's kind of trying to beat them down, like this isn't going to work, or you have exterior people telling you. So did you have anyone telling you, hey, you shouldn't be doing this? And if not, it was your own self? Yeah.
I think I knew I could do it. You have to study who's doing what you want to do at a higher level than you are. And I looked at it and I said, they've just got time on me. They're not any more talented. They're not any more hardworking. I'm proving to myself right now in this moment that I'm hard, as I'm nannying these kids, who I loved, by the way. That's the other thing. I think you've got to be really active in truly trying to enjoy and find the joy and be present in what you're doing. How do you add value? How do you serve and love the people that you're with right now? Because if I can't do that with the kids I'm nannying, then why do I deserve to have some Oprah-like title where it starts here and now in those little crappy jobs. I think it was a mix of like being present in what I was doing, but looking at where I knew I would be and saying, yeah, it's just time. I still do that. You have to do it and say, there's no reason why I can't be that person. But my dad, probably 15 years ago, but he said, I'd never bet against you. And that just like, I want to cry. That stuck with me so hard to where now, like anything that I think, what if I did try it? What might happen? What's the worst that can happen? What's the best that could happen? Which, by the way, the best that can happen, I almost can never answer that question.
Really?
Worst that can happen, it can, is I'm like, I go home. I'll never be homeless. It's impossible. I have too many people that I love that love me. Like, I will never starve. But the best that can happen, I'm like, I don't know, because I only have the examples of the people that are doing some version of what I think I might want to do. But like when I get there, when I'm doing it, it's going to look different. So what is the best that can happen? Something really good.
Do you have someone then, no matter what kind of thing you do with your career, that you look at as almost your goalpost?
Oprah. I mean, Oprah's a good one because I'm very interested in having my hand in a lot of different things. I love everything that I'm up to right now and can see a very clear, like set out vision for different things that I'm doing. But can see where the things could go. And it's like, these are the people that, why not look to that level of whatever industry that you're in? And I look at these people and I say, they just have time on me.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, looking at people and kind of saying, okay, they've got time on me. What did they do to get there?
Exactly.
What makes sense for me? How do I replicate it, but in a very authentic way?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you're a hybrid, would you say? Huh?
It is kind of like that, isn't it? Yes, indeed.
So let's talk about that. So you go from Access Hollywood. I mean, everybody who wants to be in Hollywood would look at what you had and what you were doing and be like, that's the pinnacle.
job. Yeah.
You get to talk to celebrities on the red carpet. And guys, if you haven't seen the videos of her with these celebrities, like,
Don't watch them.
No, you are so, and honestly, I watched them and having already know you in my personal life. So when I was watching them, I'm like, it's the same you. Like, you are still funny, silly, goofy,
I like those
super
ad shows.
cute.
I'll take silly.
Right? Like, but you are, and it didn't matter if you're with The Rock or, whoever, you were still very authentically you. So you're with these people, red carpet, you're getting accolades, you've done it, you've, gone from Missouri to LA, and then you decide to leave.
Yeah, this is the fun part.
So take me through leading up to that, and then what actually thought process you had in making that decision.
So I moved to LA January 2014, and I was full-time at Access by April 2016. That's very fast. It happened so fast that I feel extremely grateful that I got to do what I thought was kind of the ultimate dream. One of my career bucket lists, if you will, was be on a national TV show. And I was doing it within a year and a half of moving to LA. I used to think, I got to this position so quickly so that I can move on to like the Today Show or Good Morning America quickly and get to do that while I was young. And now my thought more in retrospect is, I got here so quickly so that I could realize sooner that this isn't what I wanted to do and get started on what I do want to do. So when I start feeling this like, hey, you're not really supposed to be here anymore, I just kind of have to listen and be like, okay, well then where am I supposed to be? If May 31st, no matter what, if I don't have a gig, no matter what, I'm leaving. That will be my last day. January 16th was my last day. But what happened was an opportunity came up that, just to be honest and talk numbers, I did make more money in 4 days taking a branded gig than I would have made in about 6 months at my job. And that's about the exact same amount of time that I'd set that date. So that came, to me, that was a very clear and like kind of comforting sign of provision and recognizing like it's gonna be okay, but you need to leave now. It becomes this like, fear doesn't run my life. Of course there's fear of leaving what you thought was your dream job. There's a weird guilt of knowing it's other people's dream jobs and being like, how come I'm not happy when thousands, my own friends would kill for this job and I'm not happy in it? Why is that okay? There's the fear of, I don't have a regular income anymore. No more salary, back to $7,000 a year maybe, who knows? But having to put all of that in its place, really sit with myself and say, what do I want? What do I care about? If somebody told me I was gonna die a year from now, would I still be doing this? The answer was no. And then having the encouragement of just so many people. It's just kind of giving me a huge head because I'm like, I can do whatever I want. Everybody else says so I might as well start believing it myself. And then I left.
That's amazing. So it's almost like you got like these multiple paths as well, and like you're just kind of going with what is really drawing you.
Yeah. Where's the fun? Where's the joy? Where's the peace? Like, that stuff sounds so cliche, but you need, like, look for the peace. Look for what feels right when I'm doing it.
Yeah.
What excites me to get out of the bed? If you are not excited to get up and do the thing that you're doing, what are you doing? I know why people do it. I do. I know there are people watching like, I have 4 kids and I can't just leave my job that I hate and I'm terminally ill, and like, there are some really, really serious stuff that dictates a lot of our decisions. And in the most loving and compassionate way that I can possibly say it, it's still a choice. And there's still another choice. And I believe that because I've seen it in my own life and I've seen it in other people's lives. And it might be super hard and you're gonna have to do new things that you've never done before. But can we stop saying the word hard and just say the word new?
Yeah.
Anything in my career, anything in my romantic life, any of that stuff, that's just new. So I have to be new in that moment. I might have to learn a new skill. I might have to do a new thing I've never done. I might have to ask for help. I have to ask for a lot of help. But it's just new. So you just have to go do it. Like that's, I'm not really fun to talk to. My friends tease me as I'm team quit your job. I'm like, I'm not if you love your job.
Yeah, right.
I'm not trying to quit my job right now. I absolutely love my job. But if you're not in it fully, truly from your gut, not a day to day, I'm tired today and I don't feel like doing this. Okay, we all have that. But if you're like, that doesn't feel right, stop.
And I love that you put in, though, like a deadline. I think that's massive, because if people don't, they're like, oh, one day, next year. Like, I think it's easy to push off, but you set yourself a deadline, and then you actually got there way quicker because an opportunity came out. Now, would you have taken the opportunity if you hadn't set yourself a deadline and you knew where you were going?
People don't do anything unless they're accountable and there's structure. So.
And I think it's important to know yourself, right? Like for me, I know that I will take 5 years to do something unless I have the pressure. Yep. So even with this show, right, it was like, no, you've got to shoot by this day. Otherwise, like you've already said it out loud. Like the second you've said it out loud,
then it's happening.
Like, because you don't want to be known as a person that says something and doesn't, go through with it. So I know myself, I have to say it out loud so that I put that pressure on myself so that I'll actually get it done.
Yeah.
And if you're not prepared or you're not ready, it's like, guess what? You'll learn.
Get ready. How are you going to get ready till you get ready?
Yeah.
This lady, we're at coffee and you're like, I have an idea for a show. What do you think about this? I'm like, yeah, okay. 2 days later, I'm not kidding, there's like a photo of it. She texted me a picture of the set. And this is why I like you.
And the funny thing is,
and
I knew that I needed to say it out loud to you. Like that was a pure strategy for sure. I told myself, like, Lisa, you have to say it out loud. Because again, it just puts, because I so pride myself in, if I'm going to say this, I've got to see it through. So I think identifying who you are, how you work, and then using that to your advantage.
Your word is the most important thing that you have. Not even just to other people, but to yourself. So we have to start training our brains. We're wired for survival. But guess what? I don't wake up at the mouth of a cave and think, am I going to get eaten by a saber-toothed tiger or not? No. You have to train your subconscious to start trusting yourself and doing things, because we're wired to stay safe. If you start saying, I'm going to do this, and then you don't, that's just ticking away a little bit of trust in yourself and trust in yourself. But if you say, I'm a person of integrity, all that integrity means is, I said I was going to do something, and I did it. But as soon as we speak something out loud, and it is a commitment, you're on the hook and I'm putting you on the hook and I'm going to hold you to doing that thing. And we have a spreadsheet so that literally I said I'm going to do da-da-da-da-da. When you do it, it says finished. And then after a while, suddenly you have this whole list and just visually your brain goes, oh, when we say we're going to do something, we do it. When we say we're going to do something, we do it. So then when some big ask comes up that you're like, I don't actually know if this is possible. You pull up that list and you say, well, if we say we're going to do it, apparently we do it. And your subconscious goes, okay. And you've banked enough money, if you will, in this trust bank to yourself to start making these kind of big, giant, leave your job risks because you're a person of integrity. And you like trick yourself. It's crazy. It's like,
one of the quotes that I love is, you say you can, you say you can't. And it's just like, what are you telling yourself? Are you saying that you can do it? Even if it's crazy, even if it's like, I'm earning $20,000 a year and okay, my goal is I'm going to earn $1 million by the end of the year. Well, if you say you're not going to be able to do it, then guess what? You're not going to freaking be able to do it, right?
Something happens when you say, I'm going to do this. Not only does it change you, not only does it change the people that you're telling. I'm a big believer in like tell. The more you say your story, I post stuff online to make me accountable. But guess what? If you didn't make the $1 million by the end of the year, you don't die. You don't become homeless. Nobody comes and spanks you. But you probably made more than you would have just by going for it.
And that's the point, right? It's just that if you don't set, then you're not going to go for it and push yourself or push the barriers.
Exactly.
Going back to what you were saying also about like posting on Facebook and saying you're going to do something. A big thing I always think about is identity as well, right? So if you're saying it out loud and you don't follow through, well, then your identity is going to become the person that doesn't follow through. So it's not by accident. Like, what identity do you want to have? And then live by those codes to get and achieve that identity.
100%. But if you have a reputation as someone who is accountable, who keeps their word, who does good work, who's fun to be around, who, you know, all those things, that's identity capital. And that becomes so valuable, especially in a day and age. It's the old lady in me. I'm like, now that the computers do everything, but really, now that our computers do so many jobs, and like AI and all this craziness that we're getting into, they do the things that people do. You better be a like pretty awesome person so that someone wants to work with you and not a robot. Mm-hmm. That's extreme, but like, let's raise the stakes. Let's act like life is extreme, because guess what? You're gonna die.
The funny thing is, people sometimes see that as like, oh, that's so morbid,
so
but
dark.
I find it so empowering, because like you said, it's gonna happen. One thing I think about is, what do I want written on my tombstone?
Yeah.
Right? Like, legitimately, like, oh, I like that. I might steal that.
But yeah, I agree. What's your legacy?
Yeah.
What are you leaving behind? Whether you have kids or a business, or like for me, Hybrid House, as much as I'm very much involved, because it essentially is just me right now, I want to build this to where I'm not really involved and pop in for a little creative input and to hug everybody and say, you're doing a great job. See you when I get back from Hawaii or whatever. Like,
would
but
you
that's
do
what you would
that?
want. I do like to read, so there is a level of like, that sounds so nice. And just go somewhere and read a book for a week, but like, slim chance.
Yeah. Well, that takes me to balance, right? Because a lot of people are talking about balance and how do you do it, especially with people being so motivated. I don't seek balance, I seek harmony. So my life is 80 to 90% work, 10% my own time. Fun things. But because work is fun, right?
Exactly.
But so many people, I think, seek the balance, and it should be 50-50. How do you see balance, and how do you juggle that entrepreneurial mindset that you have, along with the thing that you've spoken very openly about? You love to read.
I do.
So
I'm a nerd.
So you're talking about spending every day doing things that you enjoy, but if you keep pushing off reading...
Well, I'm certainly not a 50-50 balance person. For me, it becomes, my vision is so strong and so clear and so invigorating. Like, I hate going to bed at night because I just want one more hour that I could be doing this thing. And that is not a just me thing. Anybody can get to that. It takes a minute to sit there and it's got, I'm talking like an actual vision statement, a sentence that is so specific that it influences all of your choices during the day. So for me, balance becomes, how do I take care of my physical body and my mental health in service of that vision, though? I really enjoy exercise. So I work out more or less every day. I kickboxed today. It was great. And that is restful to me. That is balance to me. But really, that's also like, I want to be an actor in... My type is very action-like, so I specifically choose kickboxing because it's helping me with my craft at the end of the day. But I don't feel like that's cheating. There's nothing in my brain that's like, you're not really balancing. Everything you do is work. I'm like, no, I'm just doing it smartly so that it kind of all... I really like harmony, not balance.
I'm really struggling with
answer.
that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I'm struggling because I've got health issues, and so my doctor recently has prescribed me to work 30% less, work out 30% less.
It's hard. New.
And then you tell me, look at you. Way to bring it around.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's like, going back to what you're saying, I love working out. Like, it's my morning selfish time. I love my job. So now I almost have to force myself to go against what I really want, because it's not doing me service, right? It's actually breaking my body down and I can't function. So now I'm battling what my mind wants and what my body's saying, hey, you can't manage that. How do you do that? Yeah, what's your advice?
At the end of the day, we are human beings in a physical body, and you cannot accomplish the things you want to if you are not well. Sucks, but it's true. So you have to make that priority. It has to come first. But I would say, like, how do you get curious? How do you turn that new 30% or 60%, all this time that you have, into something that you do actually love, so that when you're well, all of a sudden there's a question of like, ooh, I could go back to working out more, or I really love this new thing that I'm all about. And I think that takes sitting with it and very much, I'm not someone that steamrolls over emotions. I think emotions make terrible pilots, okay passengers. We can listen to them. So I think sit and, man, I'm upset that I don't get to do this thing that I love to do.
Yeah.
And that really sucks. And here's how I feel about it. I'm a write it down person. Just get it out. But then it's a choice and you move forward.
And the one thing I love, like you have spoken about this whole interview, is really searching for your joy, right? Like, what is that happiness? And that brings me to another quote of yours. I do believe in doing what actually brings you joy. And if that's working on your business instead of feeling obligated to go out on a Friday, hi, my people.
Hey,
love that.
Me.
Because I think so many, people, you've got the groups of friends that you love, but they're just not moving you towards what you really want in life. And I love that, for you, it's following your joy. And then you can almost use that as your compass to say like, no, I'm not going out on a Friday with my friends.
Yeah, well, that's the balance thing too, because people have decided what balance means for everyone. For me, balance is never going to mean going to a party, because that's not what I want to do.
Right.
But yeah, choose your version of joy. I think people really miss out on knowing themselves, or maybe meeting themselves kind of later in life, because they've been doing stuff that other people told them was the way that we do things, or what's cool. I'm like, I don't think I've ever been cool. I don't care either.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm kidding, but you kind of got to get to this
agreed.
I'm going to do me, and I love me.
Yeah.
Self-love in a really true sense. That's such a hot topic right now, but then when I actually talk to people about it, I'm like, but you don't love yourself.
Yeah.
Because you just talked about yourself really negatively for 10 minutes straight, and you don't believe in yourself, and you're doing something that yourself doesn't love to do. So you're making decisions that are not in line with someone that loves themselves. And I think that is kind of the root of how can you be confident if you don't love yourself? How can you be fully into another person in a relationship or into a career or whatever if you don't love yourself?
Right. But part of me sometimes, at least for me, giving myself a bit of hate actually helps. I don't always just say, you're great, you can do it, I love you no matter what. It's like, no, Lisa, you're shit, and if you want to be good, you got to step up your game.
Yeah.
But it helps me. It doesn't erode my self-esteem though. And I think that's almost what you're saying, right? Is that if you let it hold you back, then I think that's dangerous, because it's running your life. But if you actually use it to propel you, then I think, at least for me, it can be helpful.
Yeah.
You just need the balance of the hate and the love.
Yeah, I would argue, I'm like, you don't hate yourself. But I get it. There's a, I don't think you let yourself off the hook. That is a balance of give yourself grace, but also go for it. I couldn't take any of the risk that I take in any realm of my life if I wasn't at the end of the day, I know me and I'm okay with who that is. My whole self-worth comes on how have I been treating other people. That's really it. It's, have I given what I could give? I love this concept, this idea that you're laying on your deathbed and you're like, I could not have given any more. There is no, what if scares me so much more than a risk of present failure. When I'm 100 and I'm going out, is there going to be even a fleeting moment of, what if I had tried that? I can't live with that. I cannot deal with that. You can't take it with you. Yeah. And we say that to mean money most of the time, which is absolutely true, but you can't take any of this stuff with you. Talents, dreams.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on.
You.
So where can people find you online?
You can find me online at Hudge, _HUDGE, across all platforms. And then hybridhouseproductions.com.
All right. So last question is, what do you consider your superpower?
I knew you were going to ask me this and I didn't think of it.
Even better, on the spot.
I know. I did this to people for years and yet I'm like, no.
Payback is a bitch.
Payback from everyone I've ever interviewed.
You're
right
welcome,
now.
all celebrities.
I had to write recently a statement as who I wanted to be as a leader. And my statement was, I am a captivating, approachable, and emboldening leader. And I think emboldening is the word that I'm trying to latch onto for superpower. I think that I pull out the superpower in other people. So I don't know what that's
I
called.
Love that. I don't know what it's called either, but I love it.
Whether it's in an interview or in a coaching setting or whatever, it's like
you empower
just
others.
Add some juice to this thing, or glitter is the term I usually use, and like, let's freaking go.
You're like the fuel and the fire?
I'll take that. My superpower is I'm the fuel. So yeah.
That's amazing.
That's my superpower.
All right, guys. Well, you heard it here. Go out, empower other people, make them act on it, be the fuel to the fire.
Yes.
And just remember, do not die saying what if.
Ooh. You're good.
Bam. All right, guys, if you're not following her, you should check her out. Her stuff is amazing. All her content is freaking hilarious, entertaining, sweet, stupid. That's her word, not mine.
Yeah.
And then go check out what she's doing now at Hybrid House. It is incredible. She's definitely one to watch. And then one day, maybe other people will be interviewing you on the red carpet at the Oscars.
I think so.
So if you haven't, follow her, and then if you haven't also, go subscribe to this channel or follow me at Lisa Bilyeu. Until next time, guys, go be your own hero. What up, guys? Lisa here. Thanks so much for watching this episode. And if you haven't already subscribed, click that little button right in front of you. Click, click, click away. We release episodes every Wednesday, so be sure to get notified. Till next time, go be the hero of your own life.